Welcome, you brave souls, to the deep dive. Today, well, we're not just scratching the surface, no. We're ripping away a lifetime of comforting, self-deceptive lies. We need to expose a brutal, unforgiving truth.
Mhm.
We are plunging right into the self-imposed prison of smoking, a dark confinement that, let's be honest, you've chosen, maintained, and probably even defended.
You, the prisoner, yeah?
And if you're listening, it's because somewhere deep down, maybe in those quiet, terrified corners of your mind,
You know.
you know you don't actually enjoy it. You know you gain absolutely nothing from it. With this chilling certainty that just suffocates your peace, that you are profoundly and miserably trapped.
It really is a voluntary surrender, isn't it?
Yeah.
A systematic, kind of methodical destruction
Yeah.
of your health, your wealth, your self-respect, chosen daily,
Mhm.
puff by agonizing puff.
Right.
This isn't about some casual habit, a minor vice, or just a preference. No. This is chemical slavery. Let's call it what it is. You are fully aware that the very thing you do is a poison. It's a relentless drain on your finances, and increasingly, let's face it, a debilitating social burden that marks you out.
Right.
Yet, despite this undeniable, stark reality, you cling to it, like it's some kind of life raft in a storm you created yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So this deep dive, it's designed to confront that desperate, illogical clinging, to make you see the grotesque reality of your situation.
That's absolutely right. Our mission today, well, it's not to coddle you. We are not here to whisper sweet nothings, definitely not offering some gentle patch.
No gentle pads here.
Our purpose is liberation, to tear down with absolute prejudice every pathetic rationalization you've painstakingly built up over the years.
Every single one.
Every self-deceptive lie you tell yourself to justify staying miserable, and to force you,
Yeah.
force you to confront the inescapable, grotesque reality of choosing to remain a smoker.
Yeah.
We're here to show you the undeniable, unforgiving truth of the easy way, the way to reclaim your life from this squalor and despair.
Because the truth, however brutal it might feel right now, it's your only path, your only way to genuine freedom.
We're not here to make you comfortable. We are here to make you free. So let's just unleash the full force of this truth, okay?
Yeah.
Starting with the core lie, the one that binds every single smoker.
The absolute foundation.
That utterly deluded statement, I enjoy smoking. Let's utterly dismantle that pathetic illusion right here, right now.
Yeah, let's do.
Because your entire prison, it's built on this foundation of deceit. What enjoyment precisely are you even talking about? Are you
Right.
referring to that fleeting sensation, the one where you alleviate a craving that you yourself painstakingly created just, half an hour before?
What's truly fascinating and equally horrifying is how universal this deception is.
Yeah.
Alan Carr, he just ruthlessly exposes it. He uses this analogy that, well, once you hear it, you just can't unhear it.
Okay.
The pleasure you claim you get from smoking. It's exactly like the immense joy, the relief you might feel when you finally stop banging your head against a brick wall.
Well,
Think about that, just for a moment. The relief isn't because banging your head felt good.
of course not.
The relief comes only because the pain was self-imposed. You started the suffering, you kept it going, and then you pathetically congratulate yourself for temporarily stopping it.
That's not pleasure.
It's not pleasure, it's a grotesque, self-inflicted manipulation of your own nervous system, an artificial stopping of pain that you chose to generate in the first place.
It really is a pathetic form of satisfaction then, isn't it? Because what the smoker achieves in that fleeting, smoke-filled moment of quote-unquote relief is nothing more than a desperate attempt to get back to baseline, to reach that state of peace, tranquility, confidence, the state that non-smokers just have effortlessly, naturally.
Without poisoning themselves.
Without ever needing to ingest poison into their lungs. You're just frantically trying to claw your way back to neutral, back to zero.
Yeah.
And you're deluding yourself into believing that reaching zero is some kind of massive win. This profound self-deception, this fundamental misunderstanding of what pleasure even is, it's the invisible chain. It keeps millions enslaved, puff after degrading puff.
And if we connect this disturbing truth to the bigger picture, it becomes devastatingly clear. Nicotine is not a habit.
No.
Let's be unflinchingly direct about this, because this is where the real fight starts. It is a drug addiction.
Simple as that.
Nicotine, a colorless, oily compound. It's scientifically recognized as the fastest addictive drug known to mankind. Faster than heroin injected intravenously.
Faster than heroin. Just think about that.
Consider that chilling fact. One single cigarette. That initial, seemingly harmless drag you took years ago
Yeah.
is often enough to spring the trap, to set that insidious chemical mechanism into motion that will bind you for years, maybe decades.
And once that trap is sprung, the cycle just becomes relentless, merciless. Think about the physical mechanics of your enslavement for a second.
Hold on.
A typical cigarette gives you about 20 puffs? 20.
20 doses.
That's 20 individual doses of poison. 20 hits of nicotine delivered directly to your brain with, well, shocking speed. Each one hammering another rivet into the chains of your addiction.
And because nicotine is so fast-acting, so brutal in its efficiency, its levels in your bloodstream drop by half within just 30 minutes.
Half an hour.
Half an hour. Within an hour, they're down to a quarter. This isn't some abstract lab data point.
No, this is real life.
This is the cold, hard, physiological reason why most smokers average 20 cigarettes a day. It's a miserable, constant, gnawing need. A ceaseless demand for more, driven purely by the rapid depletion of the drug from your system.
So you're basically a biological machine,
Yeah.
programmed by a chemical to seek more of the very thing that's slowly obliterating you.
Carr describes this relentless assault, the chemical and the psychological, as the work of two monsters. The little monster and the big monster.
Okay.
The little monster, that's the physical addiction itself, the subtle, almost imperceptible pang of nicotine withdrawal.
Right, it's not like agony.
No, it's not agonizing pain screaming at you. It's more like a mild, empty feeling. An underlying insecurity, a vague agitation, just a tiny gnawing void inside your chest. Smokers, tragically, often mistake this mild discomfort for, normal life stress.
Yeah.
Or just needing a break.
Yeah, I need 5 minutes.
Exactly. Completely unaware that the last cigarette they smoked was the very cause of this discomfort, subtly initiating the demand for the next fix.
And then there's the big monster.
Ah, yes.
This is where the true horror lies, isn't it? The
Yeah.
real insidious power of your addiction.
Absolutely. This is the mental dependency. Far more powerful. A lifetime of deeply ingrained brainwashing, built painstakingly on the back of that subtle physical need.
Okay.
It's the insidious self-deceptive lie that the cigarette provides genuine pleasure, or somehow grants courage, or acts as some reliable crutch for life's challenges.
Right.
It's the profound, irrational belief that a toxic stick, a smoldering cylinder of poison is somehow making your life better, more manageable, more enjoyable.
When in reality,
When in stark reality, it is systematically dismantling every single aspect of your existence. This isn't just a habit. It's a profoundly damaging, self-perpetuating delusion that holds you captive far more effectively than any physical chain ever could.
so this unholy alliance, the little monster and the big monster, it creates this constant, miserable, soul-crushing cycle. You light up with this desperate sense of urgency, thinking it'll bring relief.
Yeah, relief.
But that relief only comes from calming the discomfort caused by the previous cigarette.
Right, the one you just finished.
And that fleeting moment of artificial calm, that gets mistakenly labeled as a boost or relaxation or a surge of confidence, a false reward that just keeps reinforcing the illusion.
You are quite literally trapped on a hamster wheel.
A hamster wheel of self-inflicted pain and fleeting artificial relief. There's no genuine escape, no true peace, as long as you keep believing that turning this degrading wheel is somehow good for you, somehow serving you. Now let's talk about the brainwashing, because this isn't just, a personal failing. It's not some unique weakness you have.
No, it's much bigger than that.
This is a societal sickness, a pervasive, insidious lie propagated from the highest levels all the way down. Alan Carr, he aggressively exposes how society, the media, even our own governments
Yes, the governments.
have actively perpetuated the myth of smoking's benefits, actively contributing to your enslavement. Do you remember those glamorous old ads?
Oh, yeah. The Marlboro Man. Sophistication.
The sleek product placement in movies, the grotesque normalization where a dying man's last request is a cigarette, as if this poison were some comforting friend in his final moments.
It's sickening when you think about it.
This stuff is deeply ingrained in our subconscious from childhood, a subtle yet incredibly powerful indoctrination.
It is a relentless subconscious bombardment. Precisely. And even today, despite advertising bans and public health campaigns, the tobacco industry finds ways. They always find ways to push their poison.
How so?
Well, think about it. Subtle product placement in TV shows, carefully crafted social media campaigns, the continued association of smoking with rebellion or sophistication or freedom.
It's still there.
These aren't accidents. They are calculated attempts to maintain the illusion, to ensure the next generation falls right into the same trap. Carr argues we're conditioned, deeply conditioned, to link certain activities with smoking.
Like what?
A cup of coffee, a phone call, finishing a meal, a break from work. You'd be more likely to say, you know what would really cap off this meal?
A cigarette.
Right, even if it tastes foul.
Simply because you've been conditioned to associate it with some arbitrary pleasure, like associating a warm glow with brandy even if you hate the taste. This same insidious conditioning applies with deadly precision to cigarettes. And what about the health scares? Logically, they should work, right? You see the graphic pictures, you hear the warnings.
You think so?
But they don't stop people. In fact, often they make it harder to quit.
How does that work?
Because when smokers get nervous or fearful or stressed about their health, what's their immediate conditioned coping mechanism?
Lighting up.
Lighting up. It's the ultimate horrifying irony. You stand outside a cancer hospital and you see more cigarette butts littering the ground than almost anywhere else.
That's correct.
People are literally smoking themselves to death on the doorstep of the places designed to save them, driven by the very fear that their own addiction creates. The warnings become just another trigger.
Another trigger for the addiction they're warning against.
Wow.
Which brings us to a crucial and frankly almost criminal question about governmental hypocrisy.
Okay.
Our governments make billions from tobacco taxes. Billions. In the UK alone, it's a staggering sum, often over £8 billion a year. They claim to warn you. They plaster grotesque images on the packets, yet they profit immensely from your addiction.
It's a massive conflict of interest.
It borders on morally reprehensible. They don't truly want you to quit. They want your tax money collected, quite literally, from your slow, agonizing demise.
It's a sinister, unspoken deal.
Where you, the smoker, are the primary unwitting victim in a transactional relationship that promises you only disease and an early grave.
Okay, so beyond the societal lies, beyond that grand conspiracy of conditioning, let's dissect the pathetic, self-serving excuses you tell yourself every single day.
The personal brainwashing.
The whispers you use to justify your self-destruction. It relieves stress, you might tell yourself. It helps me concentrate. Let's be scathingly, brutally honest here. This is false.
Completely false.
Smoking doesn't relieve stress. It causes it. It creates the very withdrawal pangs you then frantically seek to alleviate. It systematically clogs your brain, starves it of vital oxygen, and directly destroys your nerves.
Destroys them.
Any perceived help is nothing more than the temporary easing of discomfort that the cigarette itself created. It's a self-inflicted wound disguised as a desperate, temporary bandage, making you believe the poison is the cure.
And the idea that it helps with boredom or acts as some kind of sophisticated social crutch.
Oh, please.
These are truly pathetic rationalizations. A desperate attempt to dignify a degrading addiction. What kind of hobby seriously makes you wish you weren't doing it when you are?
Right.
It makes you crave it miserably, obsessively when you aren't? What kind of social interaction involves huddling with other addicts in the freezing cold outside a building,
shivering,
reeking of stale smoke, feeling self-conscious, apologizing for your stench, a pariah in your own society? How is that a social crutch?
It's the opposite.
It's a social stigma,
Yeah.
a visible mark of weakness, of being utterly beholden to a chemical, unable to function without your fix. Your crutch is, in reality, a heavy, dragging chain.
And there's the big one, the grand comforting delusion. It's just a habit.
Ah, the habit excuse.
This is a fundamental, devastating lie that keeps you trapped. Habits, real habits, are easy to break. Think about it.
Yeah.
In the UK, people drive on the left. They go to Europe or the US, they immediately adapt to driving on the right. Almost unconsciously, hardly any aggravation.
Okay.
That's a habit. A learned behavior you can easily override. Smoking. This is not a habit.
What is it then?
It's a drug addiction you constantly feed, a chemical dependency interwoven with a lifetime of profound psychological conditioning. The perceived difficulty isn't breaking some simple habit.
No.
It's breaking a relentless chemical chain while simultaneously dismantling a lifetime of deeply ingrained self-deceptive belief that you gain anything from it.
And finally, the ultimate excuse. The fallback. I lack willpower.
The willpower myth.
This is another insidious delusion, a lie you tell yourself to avoid confronting the true nature of your imprisonment. You absolutely do have willpower.
You do.
You used immense, stubborn willpower to force yourself to become hooked in the first place. Remember, enduring the awful taste, the initial dizziness, the coughing fits, the nausea.
God, yeah, the first cigarette is vile.
Exactly. and you use willpower every single day now to endure the filth, the self-loathing, the constant financial drain, the shame.
Okay.
The problem isn't a lack of willpower. It's the deeply entrenched false belief that you're making a genuine sacrifice by quitting, that you're giving up something valuable.
Right.
When you truly fundamentally understand without a shred of doubt that you're giving up absolutely nothing, that you are only gaining everything, willpower becomes utterly irrelevant.
The fight just stops.
The fight ceases because there's nothing left to fight for. The belief was the enemy.
Let's lay it bare then. Ruthless clarity, the advantages of smoking.
Zero.
Zero. Absolutely nothing. Every single supposed benefit you might imagine, the pleasure, the relaxation, the confidence, the crutch, the boost, it's all a grotesque, horrifying illusion.
Every bit of it.
A direct, cruel byproduct of the addiction itself. It's like Carr's analogy of wearing shoes 2 sizes too small.
Just to get relief by taking them off.
Enduring crushing pain just to experience the fleeting artificial relief of taking them off. You are literally paying through the nose, funding your own destruction, just to temporarily alleviate the discomfort that the poison itself creates.
So ask yourself,
What are you truly getting from it? If you strip away every layer of brainwashing, every desperate justification,
the answer.
absolutely nothing, less than nothing. You are actively receiving disease, poverty, and crushing self-contempt.
And the disadvantages, well, they are endless, relentlessly real, and they are accumulating with every single puff you take right now.
Okay, let's face them.
Let's delve into the health consequences, not with generalized risks or vague statistics.
Yeah.
No, with the stark, unflinching reality.
Yeah.
It is already happening to you.
It's not a future risk.
It's happening now. Every single puff you inhale breathes cancer-triggering tars directly into your lungs. It progressively clutters your blood vessels with viscous sludge. It starves every organ in your body of life-giving oxygen.
Every organ.
You are not just risking cancer down the line. You are poisoning yourself daily, actively engaging in a slow, agonizing chemical suicide right now.
And the specific horrors, we can't just gloss over them, can we?
We absolutely shouldn't. We are talking about arteriosclerosis. Your arteries harden, they narrow, restricting vital blood flow to your heart and brain. That means heart attacks, devastating strokes.
Terrifying.
We're talking about emphysema, a terrifying lung disease that will leave you literally gasping for air, drowning on dry land. In China, those suffocating, crushing chest pains, warning of an impending heart attack.
God.
Chronic bronchitis, asthma, thrombosis, blood clots forming silently, ready to snuff out your life without warning. And beyond the internal devastation, look at the external signs of your disease.
What should people look for?
The gray, sallow complexion, prominent, painful varicose veins, those unsightly liver spots that usually appear on the skin of the very old, chronic dizziness, torturous, repetitive nightmares from nicotine deprivation during sleep.
Nightmares.
Yes. And, let's be blunt, the humiliating reality of impotence. Your body, your only vessel through this life, is screaming in agony, deteriorating right before your eyes because of what you're doing to it.
Imagine, just for a moment, if your car's engine was progressively gunking up like that, its oil filter constantly filthy, its fuel lines choked with tar.
You'd never allow it.
Never. You'd see the immense value in maintaining it. It's your only vehicle. But with your own body, your only vehicle through this precious, finite life,
You deliberately poison it.
you are deliberately and systematically doing exactly that. You actively avoid the cancer warnings on the packets like a coward avoiding a mirror, convincing yourself it's all hit and miss, that you might be one of the lucky ones.
There are no lucky smokers.
You are not lucky if you don't get lung cancer. You are already suffering damage with every single cigarette. You know, deep down it's killing you, yet you keep pulling the trigger. What kind of suicidal idiocy is that? To knowingly inflict such suffering upon yourself, day after wretched day.
And let's not gloss over the financial ruin, because this is where the cold, hard numbers just expose the sheer lunacy of your addiction.
Lay it on us.
The brutal truth. The average 20-a-day smoker in the UK spends at least £75,000 in a lifetime on cigarettes.
75,000 pounds.
75,000. What are you doing with that immense sum of money? You're not just throwing it down the drain.
Worse.
You're literally funding your own slow, agonizing demise. This is financial suicide. You wouldn't throw £1,000 into a toxic fire, right? Or invest in something guaranteed to fail.
Of course not.
Yet you are squandering tens of thousands enough for a house deposit, a luxury car, your kids' education, a comfortable retirement. You're spending it to systematically poison yourself, to degrade your own existence.
And if you claim, with a dismissive wave, oh, I'm not worried about the money.
Then ask yourself why. Why this blindness? In every other area of your life, you probably penny pinch. You look for deals, you save for a rainy day, you plan for your future.
Sure.
Yet here, in this one crucial area, you squander thousands with utter disregard, funding your own suffering, your own eventual death. This isn't logic.
No.
It's the profound perversion of addiction, the ultimate irrationality. Smokers are intelligent, rational human beings in other ways, yet they make the single most irrational and financially devastating decision of their lives by continuing to smoke.
And then there's the crushing weight of the social stigma. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, it's changed, hasn't it?
It's no longer the cool or macho image of the past. That symbol of rebellion is gone. Today, smoking is just a glaring loss of control, a pathetic, humiliating submission to a substance.
You're seen differently now.
You are not seen as a strong, confident individual. You are seen as a drug addict, plain and simple, a person lacking the basic self-respect to break free.
And the reality of it.
The humiliating reality is huddling outside in the cold, often shivering, feeling self-conscious, apologizing for your stench, despising yourself for a habit you desperately wish you didn't have.
You lie about it, too.
You're forced to lie to your children, hide from your loved ones, apologize for your very existence in many public spaces.
The strongman image, the defiant rebel, that's completely inverted in modern society. Today, the strong, confident individual is the one who is free from this disgusting antisocial habit.
So the smoker is?
You are, in effect, the person causing offense, the one society increasingly shuns, politely or maybe not so politely. You allow a chemical to dictate your life, forcing you to sneak, to lie, to endure public contempt and personal shame.
Is that freedom?
Is that true freedom? Is that strength? No. It is the absolute degrading opposite. It is pathetic, self-imposed servitude.
Okay. Now, you've heard all the grim truths. You've been forced, hopefully, to look unflinchingly at the grotesque reality of this self-imposed prison. So the question is, how do you escape?
Right. The solution.
Alan Carr's easy way. It's not some magic cure, all right. It's not a gentle trick or a superficial gimmick.
No shortcuts.
It is a brutal, honest confrontation with reality. A merciless ripping away of every single lie you've ever believed about smoking.
It's about dismantling the brainwashing.
Yeah.
Utterly destroying the desire to smoke.
How?
It forces you to see smoking for what it is, a pathetic, degrading addiction. Not what you think it is, some kind of pleasure or crutch or friend.
The core paradox here is, well, it's profound, almost infuriating in its simplicity.
Tell me.
It is ridiculously easy to stop smoking. Once you make the definitive, unwavering decision and truly deeply understand beyond any shadow of a doubt, there's absolutely nothing to give up.
Nothing to sacrifice.
The immense difficulty, that insurmountable obstacle you perceive, it lies solely in your mind, in the deeply ingrained false belief that you are making a genuine sacrifice, that you are losing something precious.
But you're not.
You are not giving up anything valuable. You are shedding a terrible burden, escaping a torturous disease. The moment you grasp this, truly grasp it, the chains just fall away.
And that's precisely why the willpower method is such a brutal, self-defeating trap, isn't it?
Absolutely. It leads to endless misery, a feeling of constant deprivation, and almost inevitable relapse. Why? Because it relies on enduring suffering.
Which reinforces the lie.
Exactly. Enduring suffering only reinforces the profound illusion that smoking provided something valuable, something you are now cruelly denying yourself.
So Carr's genius.
Carr's genius lies in this undeniable truth. You don't need willpower to stop once you realize there's nothing to fight for. The fight is the addiction itself, the internal conflict created by the brainwashing.
Once that illusion is shattered.
Once you see the truth, the fight simply ceases to exist. There is no enemy left when you realize your supposed friend was always your jailer.
And remember, the physical withdrawal from nicotine, it's almost imperceptible.
Really? That weak?
Most smokers live and die without ever truly realizing they are drug addicts, because the physical pangs are so mild, so easily mistaken for other daily stresses, like hunger or just needing a break.
So the real enemy is?
The real enemy is the psychological brainwashing. The big monster that has convinced you for a lifetime that a worthless, toxic stick is your friend, your comfort, your courage.
Yeah.
Once that brainwashing is systematically removed, layer by painful layer, the physical aspect becomes a non-issue. You're not stopping a habit. You're breaking free from a drug addiction. And the nicotine itself, it'll be out of your system, truly gone in about 3 weeks.
3 weeks, physically.
But the mental chains, those must be severed by you. by understanding the truth.
So quitting isn't really a choice you can afford to put off, is it? It's an inescapable, necessary step. To reclaim your life from this chemical slavery, to escape your self-imposed prison.
Every moment matters.
Every moment you delay, every pathetic, "I'll stop tomorrow," you mutter. It's another conscious, deliberate choice to continue suffering, to invite devastating disease, to squander your precious wealth.
This isn't about deciding to be slightly better.
No, it's about deciding with absolute finality to truly live. The moment of revelation Carr talks about. It isn't some gentle epiphany arriving on a cloud.
What is it then?
It's a stark, undeniable realization of the monstrous lie you've lived. A sudden, blinding recognition of the truth that sets you free. It is the pure, unadulterated joy of being free from absolute, debilitating terror. So here you are, at the precipice. You've seen the trap, you understand the lies, you know the grotesque reality of your situation. Now comes the definitive act, the liberating act.
The final cigarette.
The final cigarette. But this is not some sad goodbye to a friend, no.
What is it?
This is the decisive final act of severing your ties with a brutal, merciless enslaver. Smoke it consciously, for the last time ever. Focus, truly focus. On the foul taste coating your tongue, the burning sensation in your throat, the sickening feeling of filth accumulating in your lungs. Let that visceral disgust solidify your resolve. Let it be the last degradation you ever endure from smoking.
And when that cigarette is extinguished?
Truly understand this, deep in your bones. It is not the beginning of deprivation. It is the glorious, exhilarating beginning of your liberation.
Freedom.
It's the precise moment you step out of the mire, forever leaving behind the miserable, self-inflicted cycle of pain and fleeting, artificial relief. You are not losing something. You are gaining absolutely everything.
The benefits must be immediate then.
Immediate and undeniable. A stark, exhilarating contrast to the protracted suffering you've endured for so long. No more choking, no more wheezing.
The breath.
No more vile, bad breath, no more stained teeth, no more feeling like a social pariah, perpetually huddling outside in the cold and rain.
What else?
You will experience an immediate return of robust health, surging energy, undeniable confidence, and that profound restorative peace of mind and self-respect you've slowly, systematically sacrificed over years.
You'll reclaim your physical prowess too, presumably. Your sexual vitality. Your unadulterated joy for living.
Absolutely. A joy untainted by constant craving and the shadow of disease. Compare the endless misery of your smoking life, the constant craving, the self-contempt, the pervasive fear of disease. Compare that with the undeniable, absolute bliss of being truly, unconditionally free.
The contrast must be stark.
It's a brutal awakening from a nightmare you chose to inhabit, now replaced by the exhilarating reality of freedom.
And so, the final call to action.
And here's the harsh, undeniable call to action. With an implicit judgment you just have to face, head on, you have the chance right now.
Right now.
The trap is clear. The solution, while demanding a brutal honesty you may have avoided for years, is simple in its execution. If you cling to this poison after knowing the truth, after seeing the grotesque, unvarnished reality of your choice,
then it's not about willpower anymore.
it is not a lack of willpower that holds you. It is a deliberate choice to continue your suffering, to remain a slave, a willing participant in your own slow, agonizing demise.
And the biggest danger after stopping?
Do not, under any circumstances, under any temptation, fall for the just one puff fly.
The just one trap.
That single cigarette, that one moment of perceived weakness, is the hook, patiently waiting to pull you right back into the bog you just escaped, to reestablish the insidious chemical and psychological chains that bound you for so long.
You know where it leads.
You've seen what that one puff leads to. A lifetime of filth, disease, financial ruin, and profound regret. Do not be that fool. Don't let it happen.
The time to escape is.
And now W. Every single moment of delay is another moment of self-destruction. Another puff closer to irreversible damage. Another penny funding your own agonizing end. Stop kidding yourself.
This is it.
This is your chance. Take it. With both hands, with every fiber of your being, embrace the freedom, the health, the dignity you deserve. Or face the grim, inescapable reality of the choice you've already made to remain enslaved. The path is clear. The choice is yours, and yours alone. So consider this profound irony as we end this deep dive. A truth that should cut right through any remaining delusions you might have.
It's that.
The very thing you believe gives you courage and confidence. The cigarette you cling to as a crutch actually dissipates it. It leaves you living in constant fear.
Fear of what?
Fear of running out,
Yeah.
fear of illness, fear of social judgment, fear of life itself without your pathetic prop. The real courage, the true strength, is not to smoke.
It's to quit.
It's to embrace the freedom you already deserve, to escape the only true nightmare you've ever known, the one you've been diligently paying for year after miserable year.
So the final question is,
What will you do with the newfound life, the vibrant health, and the immense wealth you refused to acknowledge for so long? The choice, as always, is yours. Will you continue funding your own demise, or will you finally truly live?